This year we had one shot, one opportunity, and now it's time to see if we captured it or just let it slip. I'm spaghetti. This year was the year of the Heretic, and that's not just me being some weird marketing machine. This was like a community idea after seeing the GW releases. I just kind of tagged along. We painted a lot of wild schemes this year, and in this video we're going to check some of them out, and we're also going to paint one of the newer schemes, one that I'm calling the Exploded Peacock. Since it's the end of the year, we're not going to go too hard in the paint, we're just going to have a little bit of fun. So if you think you're going to learn anything valuable like light placement in this video, you're wrong. Colors and placement are just going to go wherever I feel like they should go, or wherever the brush goes. But I suppose at the very minimum, I'll at least tell you what the colors are. This is Diabolic Plum. And it's going everywhere. Except for the recesses. The first long form video we put out this year was for the Army Painter and the release of the John Blanche Masterclass Volumes 1 and 2. And I have to admit, I kind of hate that we kicked off this year with Grimdark, or at least something that was Grimdark adjacent. But some of those colours did actually become mainstays on the paint desk. The Darkness, Turnbull Turquoise and Moonbeam Yellow turned up in a lot of videos this year. Next paint up on the list is Regal Blue. And yes, look, I know I said I wasn't going to do much on light placement and valuable lessons, but I can't help myself. For this layer, we're going to start picking out some pretty broad sections of the armour and leaving just a little bit of that Diabolic Plum closer to the bottom and further back into the recesses. If you want to think like a topographical map, these are going to start to be the raised areas, or at least the beginning of where the raised areas are going to be, and the Diabolic Plum is going down in the deepest, darkest. But again, we're really not concerned with recreating a realistic light. With that all sketched in, we're going to mix a colour halfway between Regal Blue and Diabolic Plum and start to go across all of those hard layer lines. We want those to disappear. Well, this video is a bit more stress-free. I have a feeling that we're going to see this scheme again in the very near future. Foreshadowing. Every year on this channel, we repaint the model that kind of kickstarted this whole thing, Synthwave Dante. And 2025 was the year of D3, and one of my personal favourite schemes. Some like to call it Synth Gold, I like to call it the Hotline Miami. And you could tell it was one of our favourites because we reused it every single chance we got. Not sorry. The whole thing was a workup from Terrestrial Titan, Paint of the Year, Fight Me. All the way up to Moonbeam Yellow from the John Blanche set. The idea for this was to make like a non-metallic metal gold that had a little bit more of a synthwave feel and wasn't just your usual chunk of browns. If you ever see this model for sale, something horrible has happened. If you caught the volumetric video where we painted an Ultra Smurf and I was trying to convince everybody that they don't need to paint heavy metal like Games Workshop, this next step of adding Hydra Turquoise is going to feel somewhat familiar. Except instead of treating it like a highlight, it's going to take up a little bit more space. We have quite a ways to go. And yeah, look at that, somebody on YouTube's actually painting the back of the model. Kind of wild that it's me. But while we are knocking on the back door, for everybody that's been asking what do you do with the back when you paint the front in volumetrics, you do the exact same thing, just a little bit less. If this were a standard paint scheme, basically what I'd be doing is making the highlights not quite as high or bright. That way it still feels like you've got some ambient or universal light coming around the model and everything looks like it's done, but it's not as bright and flashy and eye-catching as the front. But with a scheme like the Exploded Peacock here, this just means that I'm not actually going to make the highlights as wide. I'm going to be building up to those same colors and those same brightness, but they're going to be taking up less space. This way, it's going to let the darker colors kind of show through a little bit more and kind of feel like it's tamed the back just a touch. And for the Captain Obvious part, so you don't get lost if you were actually going to follow this as a guide, this is a halfway mix between the Regal Blue and the Hydra Turquoise. Again, we just want to make those layer lines disappear. As far as Warhammer goes, the big release was the Emperor's Children, and when in-game sent us the army box, I was pants-bustingly excited. I covered these things in rainbows, leopard print, zebra print, synthwave, a variation on the Hotline Miami, and the only thing that I didn't paint was Fulgrim, and we'll go through why a little bit later. It's still kind of insane that Fulgrim gets 5 heads and Ferrus Menace gets none. Now we're going to start shifting into that Iridescent Peacock territory with Emerald Forest. This is a fairly light, vibrant, vivid green, but you'll notice the whole idea of iridescence. And the reason it's actually shifting towards that instead of just another layer buildup is because of the brightness itself.
And that's because Emerald Forest and Hydra Turquoise that it's sitting on top of have a very similar value. And that just means that they're roughly as bright as each other. So instead of stepping up into lighter and brighter colors for this next highlight, we've actually taken a side step. So instead of it feeling like it's sitting on top, it kind of brings in this notion that it's kind of shifting into. There are a lot of different forms to contrast, so when people give feedback of it needs more contrast, it's kind of idiotic. Most of the time when people start talking contrast, they're actually talking about the difference between light and dark, which is valid and it is important. But the contrast here is warm and cold. And again, because it's got that same value, there's less of a difference in contrast and more of a shift. And because they are so close in value, it makes it a lot easier to blend together. I did still create a 50-50 halfway mix, but it's not quite as necessary as changing from other colors. While the colors kind of blend in together by themselves and we did the whole value thing, as far as placement goes, it still is just sitting on top like shingles on a roof, just like everything else we're doing.
This year had 2 extreme highs and 2 kind of crushing lows. And one of each actually happened around the exact same time. To celebrate and announce that I was a newly crowned member of the Army Painter factory team, Army Painter were actually flying us over for our very first Adepticon. I had Golden Demon entries ready and we were making a bunch of plans to meet up with friends that we'd never actually gotten to meet in person. And then a day or so before I was actually due to fly out, my wife's grandfather passed away. No matter the situation, celebration, accolades, progression, whatever you're working towards, nothing is going to be quite as important as family. And to be completely honest, I would delete this channel in a heartbeat if we could have just not made that happen. It seems almost kind of shitty to put this next, but I guess that's what I get for not actually writing scripts and just winging it. Because we hit a milestone, something that I've never quite felt right about accepting. We got the Fancy Pants play button.
When your friend's channel crosses 100,000 subscribers, you'll do a lot to try to celebrate them. But when your friend is a weirdo, he asks you to do a shoey in celebration. So I figured, Glacial Geek shoey, gotta be some monster. I hope you appreciate this. Cheers. I don't want to think about what you're going to make me do at 200,000.
I don't get it. Anyway, congrats, Heresy.
And yes, I have always felt a little bit weird about this because as much as I'm the one making the videos, it literally takes 100,000 other people to make this happen. So it's not really my award. The original plan was actually to put it through a wood chipper and create like these little memorabilia cards that we could give out as a thank you to people that actually did make this happen so everybody could have it. And then I found out how fucking expensive that was.
No joke, it was like actually stupid money, like more than I make in a year stupid money. Moving on, the highest highlights. And I'm not gonna lie, this actually gave me a little bit of a headache while I was painting it. Using that same idea as the Hydra Turquoise shifting into the Emerald Forest, Moonbeam Yellow actually has, again, a similar value. Which means the highest highlight is almost 3 colors in one. If we back it up into the same idea of contrast between cool and warm, this is, well, it's the highlight. It is a highlight. The Moonbeam Yellow adds this certain peak of warmth, especially when you're going to compare it back to the Diabolic Plum and the Regal Blue. Which means you can think of the Hydra Turquoise and Emerald Forest as a way to get us from basically blue to yellow.
The last low point of the year was when Games Workshop decided to be petty fuckwits and rework their NDA so that creators inside of their program couldn't use and promote other brands. Which would be slightly more understandable if they actually paid some of these creators instead of just using them as marketing tools for every single release. And this is where we entered the age of Gundam. The first few steps of painting Gunpla models like miniatures didn't turn out great. But we found a groove and started knocking out some ideas that I'd never actually thought we'd get around to. like a shadow box of the RX-78-2 painted to look 2D. In our little sabbatical from Games Workshop,
We were on a break!
we got to make our way through a bunch of miniatures from different games and manufacturers. Things like Marvel Crisis Protocol, which is actually my favourite tabletop game, Infinity, Warcrow, Gundam Assemble, Conquests, my first ever bust, and of course, Trench Crusade. And if you're wondering how we made it back to Warhammer, GW actually did end up easing their heads out of their asses just a little. Allegedly.
Personally, I like contrasting the flat matte black against something so incredibly wild and vivid, which again is another form of contrast. But there's a lot of people that get the feeling of leaving something matte black or a flat black like this gives it an unfinished feel. So I'm going to use the same black armor recipe that we did for a short a few weeks ago. All the black parts are going from black to the darkness and then into ironclad grey. It's not adding much of a highlight with the ironclad grey, but with the darkness it does introduce something a little bit more interesting.
This year I put out over 350 videos, just like last year and the year before that. Which kind of puts me in this weird position where I can tell you that hobby burnout only comes when you're not enjoying it. There's actually quite a few awesome things from this year that we've left out of the video, but that's because it would basically just be me talking for the sake of talking, and believe it or not, I don't actually like being on camera all that much. So I'll leave you with this before we sign off. Drop a comment below and let me know, what was your favourite hobby moment of 2025?
Disco!
No fancy money shots, just what it looks like exactly on the hobby desk. And for everybody wondering, about an hour and a half. For as flashy as it is, it's not a particularly difficult scheme. Sure, we could put some hours into blending and make it look a lot cleaner, but we don't really have to. It's not taking home a golden demon, but it will sit on an objective and take some points. As always, a massive thank you to InGames, the Army Painter, and the best Patreon members in the world. Big love, you filthy heretics.